Alright, good afternoon everyone. Today is Thursday, August 9th, 2012. And I'm going to go over the trades that we took in the live trading room and everything else that happened in the live trading room. Alright, this morning, this is a recap. If you have not taken a trial with us, go to www.cfrn.net/apply. That's www.cfrn.net/apply. We only took 3 trades this morning in the live trading room. It was a pretty slow day. I mean, we had the biggest movement was right after we closed, right after we shut down the live trading room. Up until 11:30 this morning, we only had about 5.5 points range in the market. We did well. Let me do my results right away. We got 8 ticks profit on the ES and 8 ticks loss on the NQ. Okay, so that puts us plus $60 a contract, something like that. Let's see. On the ES, at the open this morning, the market was right here. It was pulling back up to the BBC. I had told the guys in the live trading room that I didn't want to take that short trade right there, that bounce off the BBC right there, because I wanted to see a lower swing before it pulled back up. At this point, we had higher lows, which gave us the beginning of an uptrend, right? When you start getting higher lows like that, it's usually higher lows after it hits the BBC. It's usually a turning point. Okay, and this morning was no change. Okay. That said, the next pullback that came down and hit the BBC right here after the bullish cross, price moved up, it came back down and hit the BBC right here. I did not take this one because the YM was stuck inside the weekly trading zone over here. Okay, the YM was just moving into the weekly trading zone, and I didn't want to trade the ES long while the YM was going into the zone. It took forever for it to move. I had drawn in these trend lines. You can see the green one that I have on here, this green trend line. That, to me, this morning was the more important trend line to be broken. Once that one was broken, I figured it would give us an open to the upside to higher prices. All right, I had drawn this trend line on as well. It did close up above that trend line eventually, but I waited until it closed up above the other one before I put my trade on. All I did was buy the pullback down to the BBC here. Okay, when it pulled back down to the BBC, I got long. I think I was long at 1400.25, and I took 2 points profit up here at 1402.25. All right, it pulled back down to the BBC here, but the YM had still not gone anywhere. After a 2-point move up on the ES, the YM had gone nowhere. So I didn't want to take that trade. Now let me tell you a little bit about these trend lines that I drew on here. All right, first we had a bottom trend line that had established itself once we put in this low right here. All right, we had the low down here and then this low. That was the bottom trend line. When the trades were put on this morning, the first one was right here. I didn't actually take that trade, but I drew the trend line on the way down. As I said a few minutes ago, what will often happen on the pullback, if you get lower highs or higher lows after a test of the BBC, then that will usually indicate a turning point in the market. Like right here, we had a higher low, and right over here this morning, this bar right here, I don't have a trend line on it. I'm going to take this one off because there are so many trend lines there that I don't want to confuse anybody. But we had this trend line on the pullback down to the BBC. Now typically a close above that trend line would be an opening to higher prices. Okay? After you would have gotten long here, typically a close above that trend line would be an opening to higher prices, and you shouldn't get back down below here. But what happened when we moved up and closed up above there is it put in a lower high right there, and that changed the tone of the market right there. From that point on, I was thinking that this thing could really start to move down. The YM at that point, you see the YM at that point hadn't gone anywhere. It was still stuck at the weekly trading zone, and Bert and I were discussing the head and shoulders formation that was happening there this morning. What we were saying with the head and shoulders, hang on, I gotta find my cursor. There it is. What we were saying with the head and shoulders formation was that this being a nice head, this a shoulder and this a shoulder, it needs to drop down below 13,100. If it does drop down below there, closing down below there, which it did right here, we should see a pretty good move down. I'm thinking down to 13,050. Okay, that's on the YM. Now, all that said, let's look back over here at the ES. We had this turning point right here. All right, we took this long trade right here on the bounce off the BBC. We took 2 points profit on that. When you have a divergence down here on the slingshot, usually what's going to happen is the green line is going to work its way up into the cycle portion of the slingshot like it did on this one. It didn't actually work its way all the way up there on this one, and when we had the divergence right here, I was saying in the live trading room that usually what's going to happen is this is going to work its way up there. But that, in this particular instance, after we put in that lower high right there, the cycle worked its way down to the green line instead. You can see right now we have bearish divergence on the slingshot down here, and we have something else happening too. We had a pierce of the DMT, the blue envelope on the DMT right here this morning. Now usually that will mean a 5 to 6 point move in that direction, which would have put us up at the weekly trading zone up above us. That unfortunately did not happen. We didn't get the 5 or 6 point move. The weekly trading zone over here on the YM just stopped everything right in its tracks this morning. So I took the 2 points that I could this morning. I haven't shown you my DOM yet, but hang on, let me find it. It's over here on another monitor. Anyway, I took the 2 points that I could this morning in that particular spot, and you can see right now it's drawn down, and it gave us a cross into a red envelope over here. Now the spot where it did that was up here at 13.99, suggesting a 5 to 6 point move down from there. So that's suggesting a move down here to 13.94. That makes this pullback right here up to 13.98 a much more attractive thing to me. Now I think here's my ES DOM right here. Okay, here's my ES DOM. We're plus 8 ticks on the morning, and on the NQ we're minus 8 ticks. Here's my NQ DOM, minus 8 ticks. Okay, I kind of like the short right here at 13.98. I'm going to put an order on there, as a matter of fact. I'm going to put an MIT order on there at 13.98 to sell it. Okay, if it pulls back up there, it should work its way down to 13.94 from there, at least. 13.94. I'm going to put it on with 2 points risk. Okay, and over here, we're 1 tick away from hitting that. Over here on the YM, okay, we just did hit it, so it filled me at the market. I put an MIT order on there at 13.98, so it filled me at the market at 13.97.75. Okay, here it is. I'm short 13.97.75. Okay, what we're anticipating is that this thing is gonna go all the way down to 13.94. All right, so right there is where I filled, and we'll see where it goes. Okay. Let's see, looking over here on the NQ, we took a few trades this morning on the NQ. Well, we took 2 trades this morning on the NQ. 1 lost and 1 was a break even. Nope, we took 3 trades, 2 break evens and 1 loss. The first trade that we took was right here. We had a little bit of bullish divergence. By the time we got the up close, the cycle was moving down against me. I took the trade anyway. I probably shouldn't have, but I took the trade anyway, and it stopped me out. And then price turned around and gave a shorting opportunity right here. I did take the short. It gave me a few ticks profit, like 5 or 6 ticks profit. I moved my stop to break even, and it came back and got me out at break even. The next opportunity, we had divergence here, but we didn't have an opportunity there. Right over here on the NQ, you can see down here on the slingshot, we had bullish divergence and a test of the BBC. I wasn't really interested in taking a lot of long trades this morning with the YM right where it was. Okay, the YM was going into the weekly trading zone all morning, so I wasn't all that interested in shorting. In going long on anything until we got some confirmation we were actually going to be moving up. Okay, and we didn't get that. So I was looking for the short trades. This was my last trade on the NQ this morning. We had a bearish cross. The MA1 dropped down below the BBC. The MA1 is this red and blue line right here. It dropped below the BBC, which is this green line right here, you see. And at that point, I waited for a pullback up and tested the BBC with a down close and bearish divergence. Once I got that, I went short. And once I had 4 or 5 ticks profit in the trade, I moved my stop to break even. After moving it to break even, it came back up and stopped me out at break even. Had I not moved my stop, my risk would have been up here, so I would have been in for this whole move down. Excuse me. let's see, we had a couple more opportunities in here using just plain momentum to enter trades. There's a momentum trade that I had shown the partners in a partners meeting a couple weeks ago. And I actually just sent a video out to everybody on how to actually trade that thing in the live trading room this morning. It's pretty straightforward, and we have one guy who was over in England who was using it today, and he was 8 for 8 with his trades using the momentum trades. I have 2 of them right here for examples that I can show you. One was right here, a short on the way down, and another one was right here, a long on the way up. All right, that was pretty much it for the NQ. Now, I didn't trade in any other markets, but I'll go over a couple other markets with you. Okay, because Dwayne's not going to be here today, and it's just me, David, and Bert right now. And I don't see Robin in here yet, so I think it's just going to be a couple of us. And we're going to wrap this up by 1 o'clock today. I can pretty much promise you that. Here on the ES4 tick range, this is the ES4 tick range. Now we're taking trades here on this ES4 tick range the same exact way that we would take trades on the NQ, the YM, the 6E, the crude oil, the 6B, the 6J. We're taking them the same exact way we would take them there. All right. Let me just go over a couple. Right now it's suggesting a nice short right here on the 4-tick range. We had a bearish cross of the MA1 down below the BBC, a pullback and test of the BBC with a down close. So that's suggesting we should have been short there at 97. We are actually short from 97.75. That short at 97.75 gave us 3 ticks profit at one point so far. And I have a 2-point stop on it. So we'll see what it does in here. What it looks like is going to happen here is the YM is going to try to work its way up here to the BBC. So that's going to draw down some on this ES trade if that happens. Okay, that's going to cause that ES trade to draw down some. This time frame on the YM is saying right now is a good spot to get short. All right, I'll put one of those on too. It's actually saying right here is a nice spot to get short. So I'll try to get short right here at 13,106. I have an order on there, but I haven't filled yet. Okay. And I'll go over to the YM here in just a minute. All right, there I just filled on the YM. So I'm short 13,106 on the YM, and I'm short 1397.75 on the ES right now. Okay. I have 8 ticks risk on both of these trades. Just 8 ticks. All right, no sense in risking a lot on it. Why don't I'll go over the ES trades here on the 4-tick range, okay? It's the same exact setup. You get a bullish cross, pull back down, test to the BBC with an up close. There was an opportunity to get long in here at 99.25, and that one moved up to 1402.25, 3 points. There was another one right in here. Tested the BBC with the bullish divergence and an up close. That would have been a 1401 long right there. That one went 1 3/4 points up, all right, before it collapsed. This one right here, the opportunity would have been right here at 1397. Okay, does anybody have any questions about this stuff? I mean, I know a lot of you guys are not used to the live trading in here because I normally save this for the live trading room. But this is what the live trading room is normally like. Okay, where I put the trades on, I tell you what I'm going to do, what the risk is, and then I do it. The NQ is looking a little bit long here. Now, it's not unusual for the higher time frames to show a short and the shorter time frames to show a long. Now, on the higher time frames, a pullback like this could trigger a long trade on a shorter time frame. Okay, I just want to point that out to you if you're wondering why I would say this is looking long when these are looking short. All right. Whew. That was a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions about anything? This is what the live trading room is like, guys. Dwayne's not in here today to go on about whatever he may go on about, market conditions and things like that. So I'm just going to tell you what we did and what's actually happening right now. Let's see, the YM500 contract. Let me tell you why this trade looked attractive to me. Okay, we had a bearish cross right here. Again, we had the head and shoulders that I pointed out earlier, but we had the bearish cross right here. It came back up and tested the BBC, and when it's testing the BBC right here, down here on the DMT, this horizontal line, the 20, is inside the envelope. That makes that attractive. We had a pierce of the envelope over here, suggesting it was going to have a decent move down, okay, which it did. But we also have over here on the ES, we have the pierce of the envelope, suggesting that that's going to go down. So if that does go down, it should drag the YM down with it. Now, I'm going to draw another trend line over. I'm going to remove some of these other trend lines, but I'm going to draw another trend line right here. That is an important line that we need to get below. Okay. If we get down below that line, all these other ones were for the move up. Now we're looking at the move down. If we get down below that trend line right there that I drew in there, then we should be in for a big decline here. Okay. We are currently, well, we're a 3 ticks profit in the trade that we put on. All right, but I would expect it to at least get down here to 13.95.24, but quite possibly much lower than that. All right, our YM trade, where's my YM, Tom? Our YM trade is plus 7 ticks at the moment. Hang on, I'm trying to drag it over for you so you can see it. There it is. Our YM trade is plus 7 or 8 ticks at the moment. Okay. So I'm going to, when the YM reaches the MA1, which is this line right here, when it reaches the MA1, it gets down to like 13.95 in that area. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to take my risk off that trade right now. I'll lock in 1 tick profit, pay for the trade, and then just let it go. I have a 20 tick target on it. All right, I had 8 ticks risk, and I have a 20 tick target on it. Our ES trade, it went right down to that trend line, and it's bouncing off it right now. So I'm also going to take the risk off on that trade at the moment. Okay. So I have 2 trades on. Both of them right now are profitable, and neither one have any risk on. Okay.
Also circle that doji off the BBC, because that's what
oh yeah. Up. Yep. And this is what we're pointing out, and we pointed this out. Oops. We pointed this out in the live trading room this morning as well. We had a doji right there on the BBC. All right. Now this morning, these 2 green lines right over here, those 2 green bars, those are dragonfly dojis. We had 2 in a row right there on the BBC. We had another one over here suggesting it was gonna bounce off the BBC. Okay, that's what that's suggesting. Now again, over here the DMT, the 20 is in the middle of the envelope, middle of a red envelope over here, suggesting that it's going to keep moving down. Okay, so both of these trades look to be in pretty good shape. The NQ, where I had said that it looked like it was setting up a long opportunity, all we have is bullish divergence and a test of a BBC right now. If this next bar closes down, we wouldn't want to be going short. I mean, we wouldn't want to be going long over there. Okay. Let's see. This is going to be my longest recap ever. I think on the crude, I didn't take any crude trades this morning, but let's just take a look at this. Yeah, you know what? I didn't take any crude trades this morning. The crude had some nice setups. There's one. There's another long. There's a short. Now we're looking at the same stuff here, guys. The same stuff that we look at all the time on all the different markets. You look for your bullish cross. You tested the BBC, then an up close with bullish divergence. Okay. Up close, bullish divergence. Over here we had down close with bearish divergence. This one, depending on your risk, it would have stopped you out. It would have stopped me out. Definitely would have stopped me out. Because I would have been getting short right in here with 8 ticks risk. It would have stopped me out. Were there other ways to trade this? No. It was pretty mixed up in there. Over here you could have gotten long. Got that stop out back right there. And again, right here. All right, and that's getting into the break period. But, you know, there were plenty of opportunities here on the crude oil this morning. Okay. Just wanted to point them all out for you. All right, that was the crude. All right. Now, all that said, if anybody has any questions, type them in. I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. I am going to stop the recording right here because I think I've gone well beyond my normal recap.